Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Back at it, baby. Get to In Pocket. Before we get out of here, also more on the MLB games. Getting ready for Game 2. Doubleheader, Detroit and Colorado. Detroit punished them in Game 1. And we'll preview the playoff games coming up. And we talked to my favorite trader, Jeff Davis, here at Circa. Does a great job. Mr. Hockey as well. He's on the progressive guest line. And you have been so high on Carolina all season. You are now minus 470 adjusted series price on Carolina and down to plus 355 to win the Cup. Did you see enough in Game 1 to say it's men against boys and Washington's drawn dead?
It's a bit too early to say Washington's drawing dead because we've all watched enough sports in our life to know that no team is as good or as bad as they played last game. So, to expect Washington to get completely bulldozed like they did in Game 1, I think is probably a little bit naive. That being said, I think what we saw out of Carolina is what Carolina is. It's just intense forechecking, high volume shooting. They roll 4 lines. They never quit. Like, it's just such a high-paced game, and it's just really hard for teams to keep up with them. And if Logan Thompson isn't absolutely unbelievable, I just don't see a path the Capitals are going to win this series.
That's interesting. So you're the highest in the market. You're 23-1 on the Capitals to win the Cup. Should I do something in the Conn Smythe then, as opposed to betting Washington?
Well, if you look at the realistic people on the Capitals who can win the Stanley Cup, the list is probably 2. It's Logan Thompson and Alex Ovechkin. You want to make a case for Dylan Strome. Maybe he wins it 3% of the time that they win the Cup, maybe, probably less. I would venture to guess if the Washington Capitals win the Cup, Logan Thompson wins the Conn Smythe, more than 50% of the time. Yeah, Ovechkin can go crazy and take him there. But, if you do the math, I think anything 50-1 or higher on Logan Thompson to win the Conn Smythe is probably a better bet than anything you would find in the market on the Capitals to win the Cup, because generally speaking, places don't move Cup and conference odds when there's a move on these games, a move on these series. But we're at the point now, there's 8 teams left, and a big move in a game changes the series odds, and it changes the futures. This morning we're running the parlay price of the Capitals off of something like plus 320 or plus 330, and now you're running it off plus 380. And realistically, if what we see out there in the market now, Carolina in the 60s, is the new baseline for the series, laying 450, 460 on Carolina to win the series, a good bet. It probably maps out somewhere in the mid-5s if tonight's line is the new baseline for the series.
I agree with you, Jeff, about Carolina. Let me ask you this question, because we talked about Conn Smythe. Aren't we at a point now, even though we're early in the second round, where it's very unlikely for a goalie, and things could change, but for a goalie to win the Conn Smythe this year? It may be the first time I've ever said this early in the playoffs, but as you look through the 8 remaining goalies, can you say any of them a team has put him on his back? Would you say that about Stolarz? Bobrovsky has not been great. Maybe it's Logan Thompson, but I don't think they're going to get through. Picard, if Edmonton comes through. Ottinger wasn't terrific in round 1. I just don't think goalies are really in the mix right now.
While you might be right, there are more games left to play than have been played. So that has to factor into it a bit. I don't think a Toronto goalie can win, because Stolarz isn't traveling to Florida. He missed game 1 and game 2. Wall's been he's been okay. Is Stolarz going to take the job back if he comes back? I think Toronto's probably out on the goalie front. I definitely think Freddie Anderson can win. He's the shortest price in the Circa sports market right now. Sebastian Aho leads the Canes in points, but it's not like he's putting up Mikko Rantanen numbers. And, they have guys like Seth Jarvis can run him down. Freddie Anderson's been great so far. Yeah, they've only played the Devils, but if they keep playing these low-scoring games and winning 3-0 and 3-1, I think Freddie Anderson's surely live to win the Conn Smythe.
Yep, and a number one penalty kill, having a lot of power play goal in the playoffs as well. You said no matter what happened, the Jets, if they got through, were going to be downgraded and take a hit. Was it too severe in your opinion? And now what do you think of the Jets down 1-0 after losing last night to Dallas?
Yes, and before round one, my fair price on Dallas against Colorado matched the market, and my fair price on Jets Blues was pretty close to the market. And then after round one, I gave Winnipeg a massive downgrade off of their essentially all-in win against the Blues. And Dallas got a small upgrade. I don't think they were particularly good against Colorado. They just happened to win. Mm-hmm. And that happens in the sport quite often. And with the massive downgrade and the upgrade on the Stars and knocking Josh Morrissey out for the entire series, I couldn't get to the price that it was. The Dallas Stars good, of course, but I think the market is so wildly bullish on them off of, was it a good series win? Sure, but I'm not sure it was really convincing as much as it was they won 4 games.
Jeff, do you ever remember a time where a team was a dog in every single game in round one and then emerged as the Stanley Cup favorite in round two, which is the case at several books right now?
Yeah, and I think what ends up happening is one shop will open their futures first, and then everyone copies, and then that becomes the price. And for me, running the hockey numbers at Circa, it becomes difficult because we're in a losing position to the Stars, so I don't want to write more Stars money. That being said, I also think the market number is way too short, and if I go too, it's difficult to manage because the market is so, in my opinion, out of line on Dallas. We're still the best price on Dallas out there from what I see, and it hasn't garnered any interest. And to me, that just tells me the market is it's just an overreaction. I don't see, I can't imagine they're a home favorite against Edmonton next round. If Edmonton beats Vegas, I would assume Edmonton's a favorite in that series. I would surely make it that.
Okay. How about coming up with this prop you have now? Hurricanes or the Oilers to win the Cup, plus 135, no minus 165.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw something else up there that gives bettors another option. We did this in the NFL. Obviously, the NFL and the NHL are quite a different beast. I think we did it with Ravens or 49ers this past year, and it garnered a whole heck of a lot of interest. Hurricanes and Oilers are two teams that I'm quite confident in the pricing and the power rating too. So I was confident in hanging this, and maybe hopefully we write some business to it and gives people some different options.
Okay. What do you think happens out here tonight in game 2? Do you have a pick tonight?
I think while the steam on Carolina makes sense to me, it's just so far outside of what the original baseline of the series is, which makes Washington, I'm looking at the screen, they're starting to disappear. But something in the high 40s on Washington has to be at least interesting. And you're going to bet it assuming you're probably going to lose. But I can't imagine that Washington doesn't come with a better effort than they did last night. If I had to bet something on the board tonight, I'd bet Washington, like in the high plus 140s, kind of holding my nose doing so. But I think of all the options on the board, that's probably the best one.
Okay.
Jeff, if we played this Edmonton Vegas series out from this point after game 1 with an Edmonton lead, and we played it out 100 times, if you had a model, what would you say? How many times does Edmonton win this series from this point?
I believe, I don't have it in front of me, and I should. My fair number is somewhere around 67%. Now, that is using somewhat of a game 1 baseline. Before game 1, rather, Edmonton looked so good in game 1, so good. And I think the line is generally the home team is more expensive in game 2 when they lose game 1. But I think it's a combination of the market giving the Oilers a bump and then the Knights getting the home team down a 1 bump, which kind of neutralizes it. However, if Edmonton looks good again tonight and wins, the baseline in the series goes way up. And boy, our Vegas is up against it at that point. That being said, back to what I was saying, no team generally plays as good or as bad as they did last game. So I would expect little bit better effort out of Vegas. I mean, I don't know if they were lifeless or Edmonton was just so good in the last 45 minutes of game one, but boy, those two teams didn't even look like they were playing the same sport the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, the Maple Leafs were plus 150 dog in the series heading in, even with home ice. All the division champs were dogs, but plus 150. A series doesn't start till the road team wins a game, and yet this price has totally flipped to Maple Leafs minus 250 in some places. Is this an overreaction?
This is the most difficult one to figure out. So in game one, Toronto won. Florida controlled a large portion of the 5-on-5 play. But what I mentioned on the show last week is Toronto's in was the power play. And the power play, they were excellent in game one, and it was the difference. And game two, Florida absolutely dominated the game last night, and they got beat. And the game closed 30 cents higher than game one did. And this game two, or game three rather, the price is enormous on Florida, which kind of is congruent with the game two close. If this is the new baseline in the series, which it might be because of how good Florida's been at 5-on-5, the plus 85, plus 90s you see out there on Florida to win the series are actually good bets. If you use this as a baseline, I'm around minus 165 on Toronto to win the series.
Assistant Sportsbook Manager at Circa. Great job, Mr. Davis. Good job. Talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Sounds good, boys.
Thanks,
you,
Jeff. Logan Thompson, 38-1 here. Conn Smythe, and again, Rantanen, the new favorite after what transpired. Rapid fire with the games tonight and the madness in the NBA. You won't believe what happened in the futures market. That's next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Another epic melt for the Celtics last night. Again, I believe it's the first time in history, playoff games, back-to-back, a team has blown a 20-point lead in the in-play swings. And Boston, 36% game two, 25% from three. And it was the same thing as game one. Game one, 72-52, 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Then the fun starts. They blow it, bombs away, missing all those threes. They set the record. Knicks come back in overtime. Game two, 73-53 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Here comes a 34-11 run for the Knicks, and still 84-68 Boston, 8 minutes left. That team goes 8 minutes without a basket. I mean, you really have to question Mazzulla at this point as well about why you're being stubborn. What can you draw up? You know, you saw how easy it was for Tatum to attack and get the dunk late in the game, which they tried the same play and the Knicks sniffed it out. Of course, Thibodeau would know that. But it's just, it's nuts how bad this team is in tight games. When they're up 20, blowing leads yet again, they get comfortable, they relax, they continue to take ill-advised shots from three. And it was as high as $9 at ESPN Bet for the Celtics to win the series. And now still, though, down 0-2, game three in the Garden, $600 get-in price. Boston's $1.20 at DraftKings and $1.15 at William Hill.
You know, my friend texted me over the weekend. He says, Celtics series, Cavs series, OKC series, minus 170 as a parlay. Who could lose? Well, the teams in the East are down 0-4.
I know. All of them lost at home. 60-win teams.
Yep. I know Mazzulla won a title last year, but do they lose either of those games if Udoka's their head coach?
I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
No way.
He's too good.
He wouldn't allow that either. He's not going to say guys take 63s.
Legler calls this an aberration, the way they're playing offensive basketball.
See, that's why you have to be scared.
Yeah.
Because they think they're trusting the process or stick with the system. They're eventually going to go in. Well, okay. If it happens again Saturday, then you're really up. Then it's Miami all over again.
Well, they are a good road team, Paul.
They are.
They are a very good road team.
Yep.
Could be a hostile environment, though, there. New York City, once a hotbed of basketball.
Uh-huh. I haven't been since 2000. Paul Bovey makes out with his season tickets. I mean, if the get-in price is just $600 for the nosebleeds, hello. But again, they've won a road series, 12 series in a row. But even if you get the split, it's still 3-1, and then you're so bad at home. But I'm stunned by this still, to be up 20 in both games and what it's done to the futures market. Still a 5-point favorite Saturday, $1.20 adjusted series price. And then, in light of what's going on in the other series, is because they would have home court, assuming Indiana's $2 against Cleveland, and Cleveland's season is on the line tomorrow. What it does for the East and the finals. OKC pummels Denver. They're plus 130. Boston as high as 4-1 now to win it all. And then for the conference, they're still plus 140. They're the favorites. It's like still no one believing in these teams, even though they're up 2-0, and they got these teams coming at home.
But
now.
Indiana's favored now in that series.
They're favored, right? But
because of the injury issues.
You have that too. But Indiana has the worst odds to win the East.
But they're favored in the series.
Uh-huh.
But if it was Knicks Pacers, what do you think that series price would be?
Good question. Do Knicks have home court?
Yeah.
Knicks would have home court.
They're the 3.
Thank you. Knicks would have home court. I would like Indiana in that series. And then, but you're gonna come out and make Boston big against Indiana too.
Well, wouldn't you take a shot on Indiana if they're the biggest odds? Because you get the shot that New York wins, right? And then you're going to be a small dog. What is their price right now? Indiana to win the East.
4-1.
4-1. The Knicks are the Knicks are going to be a small favorite against them in that series if it was. So it's a double bet, right? It's a bet that Indiana beats Cleveland and that the Knicks can finish. Which I guess you could make that as a parlay. And get a plus price with the Knicks in some places. Yeah, because that's even money with the Knicks in some places.
Yeah, because that's the thing too about if you want to go really get nuts and go to win it all, like 18-1 in that range. But if you run into that juggernaut OKC and their power rating, good luck.
Are they that good?
I think they are. Yeah,
they don't have the experience, Paul.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
It is in the NBA.
You're up 9 with 230. I mean, this is you shouldn't have.
This NBA is this step ladder. Every year you got to go a little further. It's just the history of it.
Okay.
Nobody comes out of nowhere and wins it all, right? They haven't made a conference final yet. Are they going to go from never having made a conference final to winning the title?
But you see, it's a bad matchup for Denver.
Well, they should have won game 1 as well.
That's what I'm saying. You're up 9 with 230.
Yeah,
what do you think? I haven't talked to you. How bad was that coaching decision? You don't foul immediately.
No, not right away.
And in the backcourt. Defeats the whole purpose of what you're doing.
You're supposed to take 4 seconds off the clock.
Yes. And then you got Joker at the scorer's table. How about the other angle now? So Golden State wins. Curry's out at least a week. Spoke to the media today. Doesn't look good. Again, he'll be reevaluated in a week. They're the longest shot on the board in the West. They're as high as 40-1 to win the title.
Meanwhile, they got all the experience and all the caginess and Kerr, and he'll be back at some point. But can they get by Minnesota? I don't think they can, Paul. I don't think they can do it without Curry. Also, I also didn't think Minnesota could play as badly as they did in game 1.
I know. That's right.
I think if Minnesota can get to game 5, 2-2, they'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
Right? They win tonight, and then they got to win 1 of 2 at Golden State.
That'd still be a little bit disappointing. Because what if he should come back for game?
Well, I don't know that they can roll them. I mean,
they catch a big break with the scheduling.
This team has been so good for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yep.
Minnesota.
Yep.
They've been so good for a month and a half.
Okay, so that's where we're at with the NBA, with the futures market, and again, with all the upsets and what's happened here. But always shop places have different numbers. I like what you said about Florida. So Florida team total over 3.5 in game 3, and Florida to win in regulation. Now, some might say we're getting carried away because they're like a 230, 240 favorite in game 3. But as you said with Jeff Davis, hey, the games were competitive. They were 1-goal games. Toronto was great on the power play. They did what they were supposed to do.
I thought Toronto was better in game 1, Florida was better in game 2, but they lost 2 road games. And when Jeff Davis tells you if you can get plus 180 on Florida for the series or better, that's a good bet. I think you do it. I think you have to make the bet. And I get what Lou's saying. They played a lot of games over the course of a few years. They go to the finals against the Vegas Golden Knights. They win last year against Edmonton in 7 games. And then, of course, we had the 4 Nations as well for some of their players. But remember, their head coach was not involved in the 4 Nations. Paul Maurice was not a part of Cooper's staff. So I get the exhaustion angle. I think 180 is a ludicrous price. I thought 190 on Florida for the series is a ludicrous price, and I think getting 180 right now is a ludicrous price. Interesting to say how much Jeff thinks the Dallas is overvalued in the market.
That's also unprecedented. What we're seeing out of Boston in the 2 games and now what's happened in the futures market, down 0-2 and favored. Same thing with Dallas, where you get blitzed in game 1 at home, 6-1. You're on an 8-game losing streak, and now you're the co-favorites to win the cup.
You were a dog in all 4 home games in round 1.
Everyone loved Colorado. No one picked them. No one picked Dallas. And how they came back in game 2, and game 3, and game 7. Capitals are 23-1 here at Circa. Toronto, 650. That's the best you're going to do as well. Plus 650 to win the Cup. He's still high on Florida, plus 9. They're 8-1 here. They're plus 950 at most spots. And then you're getting the Golden Knights, 12-1. The Jets, 20-1 as well. But I see his case, though, to his point about, okay, we threw everything at St. Louis. We had to go to double overtime. And then the turnaround, and then we lose the game at home 3-2. Okay. But, he was saying, don't say the Winnipeg's done here, though.
Dallas, a dog in all 7 games. Now against the President's Cup winner is a favorite.
Yes.
On the road.
Right. And no respect.
On the road, but
same thing with Washington.
0 respect.
No respect.
Top 2 seeds.
In this price. Carolina, 2 pop.
All 4 home teams, the dogs in the second round.
Uh-huh. Yep.
How about in the NBA? That's not quite the case. They're all $9, $8.
Yeah. Imagine if 3 of them go out.
Is that good, though? Is that good for the NBA to have?
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
No, it's not. Well, Knicks in the conference.
I'm just talking about to have some chaos. That it's the NBA creates chalky. It's very chalky every year.
Yeah. But it's also very competitive when you look at the seeding, though. Like, look how it played out with the West.
The 6 seeds were decided by a game.
That's right. That's the ultimate what-if scenario. Yeah. If the Warriors won
Sunday
that game.
was ridiculous. Yeah. The last Sunday of the year.
Right.
Boy, the Clippers were really trying to win that game so that they could play in the 4-5.
Maybe it was better if they lost the game.
Maybe.
You don't want to be in the play-in.
They also had game 4 at home to go up 3-1.
Oh, they blew it, no doubt. No question.
And another no-show in game 7.
Yeah, that's right. Want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you insight on where the sharp action's landing. Circa takes huge bets from pro bettors. See the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. And they love the in-play here with baseball and the Nerfy and the Yerfy at Circa. Getting ready for game 2 with Colorado and Detroit. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 with your first month. VSiN.com/subscribe. 2 games tonight in hockey. We'll preview that with all the props, plenty of picks, and also the NBA with the Warriors coming up. And we'll go some good numbers in baseball. A lot going on, top, bottom, ROI standpoint, and the pitchers with over-unders as well. I'll rattle off some of those coming up. Live from Circa, downtown Las Vegas. VSiN, Follow the Money. The Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
No opinion in play. We go to the top of the second. Tigers and Rockies, game 2 of a doubleheader. 8.5 the total. And Detroit, minus 165. It is Montero. I don't know what the guessing game. MLB Network said it was Montero this morning. Montero.
Hinch is a real gamesman, huh?
Montero against Gordon. And Detroit won the first game, 10-2. Colorado drops to 6-30 on the season. Bad beat. White Sox Royals under 8.5. Kansas City got 4 in the bottom of the 8th. They win 10-0. Don't forget about the White Sox, who are now 10-28. Also a laughing stock. Boston shut out Texas 5-0, $1.50 favorites. Twins beat the Orioles again. Minnesota was $1.70. Baltimore now last place, 13-23 on the season. Really like the Phillies tonight. Luzardo's been great. They're $1.60 against the Rays. The Rays have been shut out 6 of their last 8 against lefties. Are you serious? They've also lost 8 in a row to the Phillies, and they've had all their issues at home. I don't mind Schwarber, home run prop as well. He continues that on-base streak that he has, but he's 3-0 with a 1.94. Again, Tampa, atrocious against lefties. They're having a ton of issues at home. Phillies have their number. Phillies, first pitch coming up in 20 minutes. I like the Phillies. I think you do too.
Can I interest you in Jose Luzardo over 17.5 outs?
No,
minus
like
142,
that.
Paul.
I know you like that a lot, those pitching props out. You can do that with Yamamoto tonight. Yamamoto against Fott. Dodgers on the road.
He's a fun guy to watch. Paul, I really enjoy watching him pitch because every pitch is competitive. He doesn't throw any non-competitive. Yamamoto over 17.5, minus 129. Let's play it.
Okay.
You can parlay these,
It's great. Total is 9 now. Dodgers 150. This is the first division game for the Diamondbacks. It's ridiculous. Haven't the Cubs played like the NL West 20 times?
Well, they played the Dodgers 6 different series. How is that possible?
Yeah. First division game for Arizona. I don't know. You figure it out. But Yamamoto, 1 earned run, last 32 innings pitched, and we're all over the Freeman props, which we'll talk about coming up. Blue Jays and Angels. Bassett against Soriano. Bassett $1.30, 8.5 the total. Every Bassett start has gone under. 7-0 to the under. Although after a great start, he's been a little bit shaky here going back, but has great numbers last 10 against the Angels, and his team has won 9 of the 10. But Toronto can't hit, and a vicious beat if you were involved last night. I know you were. Condolences on the under.
How about this number? Now, they're all 17.5. Listen to this now. Luzardo was minus 142. Schwellenbach and Yamamoto are minus 129. What do you think Bassett is over 17.5? Minus 174.
Ooh.
That's heavy. Will the roof be open? That's the big question. I'm just kidding. It's not in Toronto.
Yes.
He knew the roof was going to be closing the pitch different.
Yeah. 7-0 to the under. Bassett. Yamamoto, 6-1 to the under. Senga, 6-0 to the under. Peralta, 6-1. Paddock and Haney, 5-1. Ryan, who was supposed to go today, got sick. 5-0 to the under.
Yeah, they moved Ober up and got away with it.
At that. Good call. Sonny Gray, 7-1 to the over. He was good yesterday, was the first under. Hicks, 6-1 to the over. Kikuchi, 6-2 to the over. Robbie Ray, the Giants are 8-0 when he starts. Risking $100, you're up $750. Detroit 6-0 when Job starts. Pavetta 6-1. The Yankees are 8-0 when Max Fried starts. Detroit is 6-1 when Mize starts. Canning 6-1. Anderson 5-1. Holmes and Sanchez 6-1. Marquez 0-7. Baltimore's 0-7 when Morton starts. Detroit's 1-6 when Flaherty starts. What are they, 24-13?
No good.
Really?
He was bad as last year with the Cardinals. Okay? He was not terrific. I mean, he helped the Tigers get there. I thought something was physically wrong with him in the playoffs. And I couldn't imagine when they started Yamamoto in game one. He was hurt. Remember the back half of the year, Yamamoto? And they came with them in game one. And I said, oh, Flaherty must be hurt. They said, no, we want Yamamoto for a game 5 against Darvish. And boy, did that plan work out. Of course, they had to get by the game 4 where they threw a bullpen game, and it didn't help. The Padres didn't score the last 24 innings.
That's right.
Or would we be talking about this Dodgers dynasty?
No. They blew it. No doubt about it. First 5 numbers. Cubs, 24-8-5 run. 11-2-3 last 16. Yankees, 20-10-6. Detroit, 21-12-3. Mets, 12-4-3. KC, 10-3-1. Rockies, 6-22-7. First 5. Houston on a 2-8-1 run. Number 1 team ROI, the Padres. Up 7, almost 8 units. Giants, number 2. 23-5 against righties now. After the win the other day. Cleveland, up 650. Detroit, with the win today, up 7 units. Was 608. Seattle, plus 540. Top, bottom ROI. And you know who's at the bottom. No need to say that as well. Okay, so we're strong on this today, even though it's been all about the dogs and the road teams. Minnesota blows out Golden State in the only NBA game tonight, 10.5. 201 the total.
Yeah, I laid it.
Perfect in-game play as well, because this is a unique situation where a team, they don't care it's the playoffs. If they don't have it and they don't fall behind, it's on to the next. Get ready for Game 3, which they did against Houston, which they did a couple years ago against Memphis. They lost by, 39 to Memphis in that game, and they were down big against Houston before they made it look respectable down the stretch. But Finch going after Ant, challenging him, also complaining about the officiating of the league, sending clips about what they did to Gobert. I would expect a big game from Ant, a big game from Gobert. But if you can identify the rollover and the blowout, who goes off with the game leaders? Because you could have the backups in for much of this game if it figures to be a blowout. And Buddy Hield is 20-1 most points. Moody is 65-1. And you have Peyton and other guys at 100-1 in that range. Hield was 70 and 80-1 the last 2 games, cashing that prop. But Kerr go down the bench if they're getting blown out, and I'm sure Buddy comes out, though. That's why you could probably look at Moody. And I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, though, on McDaniel. 35-1.
There you go.
That's not bad. NHL, 2 games tonight. Love the schedule again with the 4 and the 6:30 Pacific, and we don't have one night till there's only single game till Tuesday. Carolina, too popular? So impressive what they did on the road in Game 1 Again, shots, attempts, 94-34. They're perfect, 17 for 17 in the playoffs on the kill. Anderson was great. Thompson hung in there, and they outshot him in only 14 shots on goal for Washington in the game. I get it, that's their season on the line, but look at what the price is. Carolina, $1.60 and higher in some spots to win the game and to go up 2-0. Plus 150, which was the sharp plays pick on the show earlier on the puck line. 175 at DraftKings now. My God. And to win in regulation is $1.05. I like under 5.5. I like Anderson under 22.5 saves. And I think Carolina is getting a gentleman's sweep here. Carolina gets it done and beats Washington. And you can play the exacta Carolina over Dallas, which is at William Hill. It's 11-1. Anything else on the hockey?
I like them in regulation.
Okay.
Hurricane.
All right. I'm with you. And then it's also same situation with Vegas. After they got dominated by Edmonton after the first 10 minutes, all 7 Golden Knights first periods have gone over in the playoffs. Right back with that. Stone over shots on goal, 1.5, heavily juiced to the over. But I think we'll get that as well. And then does Vegas save their season tonight? $1.30, game 2 against Edmonton. Edmonton 5 straight comeback wins.
You still bet that goal in the first 10? Goal in the first 5? You still do that stuff?
Yeah. You offer it. It's great.
I don't get involved because I'm on the other side if I'm playing. I very rarely play.
You like to play the no?
No, I don't play that. I don't get involved because I'm playing under. I'm trying to get to the first TV timeout. I play the under 1.5. Can I get to the under 14 timeout? Because then you can come back and lock it a winner. It's basically a bet no goal in the first 6.
How fast do they switch it? Because I do this. I'm looking at the same stuff too, where it's because the Winnipeg.
They start switching in these playoffs. Even though with all these goals, they start switching to half a goal around the 12-minute mark, depending on the game. Not so in the second period. You got to get halfway through because of the long change.
Right. I got lucky last night, but I think is it 8 or 10 minutes in they went to minus $2 under 5.5, 240 in that range.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's okay. It's kind of like the soccer. Well, how long to go from 2.5 to?
See, it's interesting because if you isolate it to a period, obviously it moves quicker. If you're isolated, if you're doing the whole game, it was just like in the second half, it moves much quicker in a soccer game than it does in the first half. So you have time to try to catch if you can know when the move's going to come, you get a big 15% advantage, 15-cent advantage. If you do it every day and you figure out based on the pregame total and what the juice is, you know about at what point, if there's not a power play on, it's going to move.
Yeah. Well, I like you can do the alt stuff, though, too, in play. You want to go over 3.5. You want to go under 5.5. Whatever you want to do as well. Smarter bets start here. Last all year long with VSiN Pro. For a limited time, we're slashing the price of our annual subscription. Normally $240, now just $199. And when you sign up today, we'll throw in 2 extra months for free. 14 months VSiN Pro, less than 50 cents a day. Promo code PRO. 14 months, every best bet, every host, every guest. Great mix as well. Nigel and the Meat Man on soccer. Got the hockey plays. WNBA starts soon. Burke with the MLB. Mackin with the betting trends as well. And all the dog videos and the special edition betting guides. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get loose picks with the UFC. VSiN.com/subscribe. Updated in play. Got games underway in Major League Baseball and what we're betting in pocket straight ahead. Let's stay hot. VSiN, Sirius XM Channel 158, the Sports Betting Network.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Nope. 5-1. Nope. 10-1. You're out.
Love it, baby. That's our guy, Bobby Farrell, with Dumb and Dumber. So smart. Haven't had dinner with him in a while. All right. The incredible hot streak. That cooled off a little bit. Dallas team total over. No problem, though. That's a winner. 7-1 against Hellebuck in the playoffs. Leafs Panthers. First period over. Winner. Bobby Witt, total bases. Again, it's fun when you give out these total bases and the guy hits a home run. You don't even have to sweat it. So we got that as well. Celtics minus 2.5 games. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Grandpa. Say bye-bye. No shot there. Panthers in regulation. No good. Toronto does it again. So 3-2. The pending Pacers to win the East, 19-1. Tatum most points in the series against the Knicks, -125. This is going to be a loser. Curry most threes in the series. Out a week. Stars -1.5 games against the Jets. Winnipeg season on the line tomorrow. And we got all the new picks on a fun card tonight. Coming up the next 2 days. Love the playoff hockey. This is available at Will Hill and Caesars. Circa has it too, but again, president of the Carolina Fan Club is Jeff Davis, who makes the hockey numbers here. I found the best I could do was Carolina over the Stars 11-1 with the exacta. First period over tonight, VGK and Edmonton. All 7 playoff games. First period's gone over with the Knights, $1.50, $1.60 juice. Right back to Freddie Freeman. Over 1.5 total bases, $1.15, $1.20 at Will Hill. 12-game hitting streak, hitting almost 500. 18 RBIs, crushing it. Bases clearing triple last night. 3 hits, and then he had home runs in the previous 2 games. Freddie's raking, going against 5. Tomorrow, back with the Stars, team total over 2.5 against Hellebuck, -150. Tonight, Mark Stone over 1.5. Shots for the Knights, -180, 160 in that range. I'm with Mike. Great job by Toronto, but are they going to keep this up against Bob? And Stolars didn't make the trip. It's going to be Wall again, likely game 3. Well, yeah, in game 3 and game 4. Something better not happen to him. It's Matt Murray behind him. I mean, that's just no way. Panthers,
Ottawa?
Yeah, Panthers to win in regulation, -140. That's gone up now. Panthers team total over 3.5 goals. Chop that as well. There we go. Good luck. Got anything, Maestro?
Yeah, I got a few.
It.
I'm going to take the Hurricanes in 60 tonight. I thought about 1.5 goals, but likely a low-scoring 1-goal game. So we'll take the -120 there. T-Wolves, either they're going to win by 20 or they're not going to win the game at all.
I agree.
I'll lay the 10.5.
I think that's
I
actually
like
right.
what you said. Look at it in game.
Absolutely.
If they get down 12-15, Kerr says game 3. We're getting ready for game 3.
No doubt.
And then a couple outs props, both 17.5, both -129. Luzardo on the road against Tampa Bay, and Yamamoto on the road against the D-backs. And then Florida Panthers still to win this series, +185, down 2-0 heading home for game 3.
Very good. This summer, go all in. Circa Las Vegas, the ultimate getaway. The package is just $400. 2-night stay at Circa, $100 dining credit, $100 beverage credit, and your own day bed at Stadium Swim where the party never stops. All for just $400. Valid through May 26th and September 4th. Don't miss out. Lock in the all-in summer package now. CircaLasVegas.com. They've got you covered. Anything you want, all your needs. CircaLasVegas.com. Tell people what happened in this Detroit game. Game 2 of a doubleheader.
4-1 now, Paul.
Yep.
Keith just missed one. Sacrifice fly, though. They're up to 4-1. Yeah, you tough. But 4-1, runner on third, 1 out, top of the third. First and second. Ground ball's going to go right to the shortstop above second for a double play. Pitcher, Gordon, reaches up, tips the ball, nothing. Now bases loaded. 1 hopper to third, boots it. Run in, bases loaded. So they push 2 of those runs across. 4-1 right now, 1 out. What are they now on the live line?
1,300.
There you go.
It was 1,500. You want Colorado at DraftKings or +650?
Good luck.
This can't be.
Can you play like Colorado and White Sox errors in a game over 1.5 or so? Is that available out there in markets, folks? It's something.
It is. So the other thing, Kansas City shut out the White Sox. They swept them, and you still have the White Sox sitting there at 10 wins. So to think that you had this record, and the White Sox set the record last year. Wait a second.
Well, it's not going to be close.
They're on pace for 136 losses. I mean,
going to win 26 games?
Well, how about was it last week? We talked about this with Mitch 10 days ago, Luke. The win totals were 48,
but
47.
They were 4-19, and now they're 6-30. So they went 2-11 in the last 13.
Yeah,
about to be 2-12. It looks like
it'd be the third team in the modern era to start this bad. So I can't believe undecided was $1.90
and $1.20 minus $1.25 on the run line.
Yeah.
On undecided.
All right, so that's what's coming up. And the Phillies game goes at 10 minutes. So does the Atlanta game. And short card, but again, ton of props in that Dodger game as well. Fought against Yamamoto in a good one. And you got Minnesota coming up. It was good to talk to the sharp plays earlier today. made his first ever appearance on Follow the Money, gave out a subscription. The answer, the Cubs, the 84 Cubs to the trivia question, Mike's dad, Ronnie Palm. He wants to come on again and give out cash. Now, if I give that away, what would be the best? Because the top 3 Ronnie Palm stories over the 7-year history of Follow the Money, right? Is it someone has to be the last guy on the route?
Most people, when they stop me and talk about my dad, from stories that I've told, talk about the mailman and his fight with Jack the mailman. And just everything that really surrounds that. But he was outraged that we wouldn't get our mail till after 2 o'clock. And my mother used to say, what do we get, Ron? It's only bills. What are you looking for in the mail? He says, it's not right. Other people are getting their mail at 9:30. So he would hijack him on the top of the route before he got to Xavier Hospital. And eventually Jack just had it there for him and handed it to him. He didn't want to fight anymore. But I mean,
didn't he take a picture of or call up on him?
See, Jack lived in the neighborhood. And so he would take his lunch at his house. And then he would sit under the big shade tree across from his house. He fell asleep one Saturday. My father then he's calling the post office. I said, there's nobody there. It's Saturday. He's yelling into the answering machine. This is Ronnie Palm at 2800 such and such Balky Street, and Jack's sleeping. I got video evidence, right? I mean, it was plus the guy was a Cardinal fan. That didn't help anything either. But I mean, I said, Dad, you're terrorizing this poor man. His best friend used to tell him, Ronnie, somebody's at the end of the route. There's how many routes in the city? 1,000 routes, and everybody's at the end of the route. Yeah. But then Christmas time would come, and he'd make out a card and put a $100 bill in it. I said, you're giving Jack $100? He said, Michael, it's Christmas. I mean, he was amazing with his obsession with the mail. This is all after he retired, of course, when he sort of lost his mind. He would go to the Eagles Country Market every single day and get 2 or 3 items. It's because he liked to go and see the people. Sure. My mother said, make a list, go once a week. What fun in that?
It's good. Yep. So the other highlights are get your coat, Michael.
Well,
and also,
that's the Thanksgiving story.
Yeah, and then giving the squirrels the
we fed all the squirrels.
Ritz crackers.
Yep, peanut butter crackers. And then one time he got laid up after his knee surgery, and he was out of the crackers. He told my mother, "Go get the crack, Judy. Make sure the squirrels are going to come." And she got saltines. He was outraged. She said, "They eat Ritz. They will only eat the Ritz crackers with the Jiffy peanut butter." It all ended when my mother stepped on a squirrel coming out of the back and sprained her ankle one day. That was the end of feeding the squirrels. Yeah. She said, "Ron, they are rats that live in trees. What is your obsession with squirrels?" He said, "They're kind."
Bad beat.
Miss the guy.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad. The best is still, we don't have enough time, but the best is still what happened when they broke into the guy's house next door.
Bud Chargets. Well, the setup is the watering, and we had to use our water. So my next door neighbor goes on a month-long cruise. I was 8 years old. He says, "Do you mind watering?" He had flowers all around his house, and he had a big tomato garden in the back. I said, "No, that's fine." He brings over, he said, "Here, you can use my watering can. And oh, by the way, I'm turning off my water since I'm gone that long. So we have to use, my father said, we have to use our water? Right? But the water bill was like $16 a month.
Yeah.
So I did it 3 times a day. I watered for like 5 weeks. He finally came back. He came over the next day with an envelope. He said, "I really want to thank you. Have my water can." I gave him the can. He gave me the envelope. He walked back to his house. I opened it up. $3. My father said, "That didn't cover the water bill. Our water bill was up $6 this month." Now, about a month later, we're sitting there watching NYPD Blue on a Tuesday night. My mother's bowling league. It's just my father and I. So whatever time it is, 9:15, 9:30,
yep.
I hear glass breaking. I go over. I said, "Dad, I think somebody's breaking into the Chargets' house." He said, "Just sit down." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You didn't hear anything. $3, huh?" They came, the police. "Did you hear it?" "No, we were sleeping." We were sleeping. That $3 cost the guy a lot. Bud Chargets.
Sit down, Michael.
Sit down. We didn't hear anything.
Oh my God, so good. 6-1 Detroit.
Well, there you go.
So the other thing with this, remember, it's nothing but winning teams coming up too. It's Texas, Boston, Toronto, San Francisco, Kansas City, Cleveland. Are they at St. Louis too? They're at St. Louis. That's what's coming up for. I'm looking at the wrong one. But Colorado had nothing but good teams coming up.
Meanwhile, no relief when you play in the division.
Got that. That's right. Prime time coming up next. Cashing out Joe Sorallo. Mitch back tomorrow. Good luck. Cash some tickets.